Hi guys, so I'm looking at this report on MSNBC where it says here Trump hates sharing the spotlight. That could spell trouble for his new buddy Elon Musk, right? And so they're speculating what could Elon Musk want for helping to elect Trump. And it says here Elon Musk helped elect Trump. What does he expect in return? The world's richest man gave his money and time in campaigning for the president elect and now is putting in his requests for a friendlier regulatory environment. So apparently, what he wants is regulation that is friendly towards him and his companies. But it's a very interesting article here on MSNBC. It says here Trump hates sharing the spotlight. That could spell trouble for his new buddy, Elon Musk. How many Scaramucci's do we think the president elect will let pass before his ego can no longer tolerate the adoration and authority of his co president? So many of these media outlets have been referring to Musk as a co-president to Donald Trump. I don't really think you have to be a political pundit or an expert in political matters to observe with your own eyes that Elon Musk is definitely acting as if he is a co-president with President-elect Trump. Since before Trump was elected, Elon Musk has flexed his muscles. I mean, he has reportedly contributed millions of dollars, maybe tens of millions, to Trump's re-election campaign. He formed a political action committee on behalf of Trump. And he was basically everywhere with Trump for months. I mean, it's unclear who was running his companies, who was taking care of his 12 children, who was taking care of his various, wives and girlfriends, while all of this time was being spent at the side of President Trump, because he didn't seem to ever leave. And apparently there's a lot of rumors that, he sort of camped up at Mar-a-Lago. I mean, he brought his bags. I guess he flew in on his private jet from wherever he lives, and he just staked out at Mar-a-Lago, and he stayed for weeks and weeks, allegedly. And then finally, Trump won, and people, I guess, thought that he would go home, wherever home is. And he just stayed and stayed. And so people are now saying, like this article here by Chris Hayes, it says, the old adage, guests like fish begin to smell after 3 days. Well, it's been a week since Donald Trump was elected as our next president, and there are numerous reports that one notable guest at Mar-a-Lago is wearing out his welcome, the world's richest man, Elon Musk. Well, I mean, I think that it says here Musk has become America's most powerful private citizen, according to the New York Times. Okay, I mean, point taken, but I think that if they or Donald Trump thought for a second that Musk was going to spend so much of his time, so much of his money, and so much of his technology also, because remember, he created an app that allowed him to know 4 hours in advance, according to Joe Rogan, that Trump had won in states where people hadn't even finished voting yet, apparently, and the polls had not yet closed. So he has invested more than a lot. I think he has invested everything possible to invest in getting Trump elected. He also had that sweepstake where he was giving $1 million a day to people who were, registered Republicans and who were voting for Trump. And so his whole reputation, his businesses, his money, his time, his work product are all tied up in this Trump win. I mean, I don't think it is an exaggeration to say that without Musk, Trump probably would not have won this time around. I mean, as late as August, you had someone in Trump's campaign, some high-ranking official in his campaign, who was fired because after New Hampshire, this guy was like, this ship is sinking, we're not winning, this is over, and so on. So they got rid of him. Luckily, I guess, for them. But you know, Elon Musk has really, as Chris Hayes says here, Musk used his social media platform and his vast personal wealth to help get Trump elected. In return, the president-elect announced Wednesday that he was putting Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy in charge of a still theoretical Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, to slash government spending. Well, I can tell you something. I'm sure that Musk is very, very excited about this appointment, but it doesn't really sound to me that this appointment cuts the muster for Musk, right? Especially given that he's not even in charge of it, he's sharing it with Vivek Ramaswamy. Now, Vivek seems like a really smart, intelligent, techie individual as well, but he's not on the level of Musk. And I don't think he invested anything close to what Musk invested. And so I'm sure on a certain level, if that's all, Musk is going to get out of this, if you think that that's all Musk wanted was some appointment with a co-director to cut government spending, and you think that that's all he did this for, you or Donald Trump or anybody, I think you all must be smoking something, because I mean, again, I'm not a political pundit. I'm not an expert on any of this. Far from it. Quite the opposite, as a matter of fact. But I don't think that you have to be an expert to read people and to read the room and to analyze the data, right? Musk didn't do all of this to share directing some, yet to be formed government department, which probably, according to some people I've heard speaking about this, you can't just form a Department of Government Efficiency and give someone who's not even a member of Congress unfiltered and unfettered access to the American government to the point that they are cutting things like, government spending. Government spending is something that is a constitutional matter that is decided by the Congress of the United States, right? The spending clause of the is in the Constitution. I think it is, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. And this is a congressional matter, so they decide on the spending and the overspending, whether it's Social Security, whether, whatever, health care. I mean, I don't know. It's the Congress, and it goes through a lot of, analysis, a lot of steps, a lot of give and take, a lot of negotiation, you know. So the idea that you have all these members of Congress sitting there like lame, impotent ducks, allowing some guy who is, he's okay, he's probably an American citizen at this point, but I mean, and he probably could run for Congress if he wanted. I'm not sure. Is there a citizen requirement? I'm not sure. He definitely can't run for president, that I know. But I mean, the idea that, Vivek and Musk are going to sit there and overrule Congress, and Congress is going to just sit there like a whole bunch of, impotent men and women and allow this to happen is a joke. And so, at least from my way of thinking about this, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that this DOGE thing is going to go anywhere really in terms of what they think they're going to do. You can't have two people like Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy undo the American Congress, the House of the legislative branch of government is not going to just stand aside and watch this happen for a president who's only going to be president for 4 years, right? All of these things have, you know, protocols and norms that need to be respected. So someone said, I mean, this isn't going to really go anywhere. I mean, Elon Musk cannot be empowered by Donald Trump, even though Trump is the president, even though the House and the Senate are Republicans. It's not going to work quite that way. Now, I would say, let's see what happens, right? Let's see what happens. I wouldn't bet against Trump. I wouldn't even bet against the members of the Congress agreeing to everything Trump asked them to agree to, including this DOGE thing, including Elon slashing everything and them standing on the side doing nothing. I mean, it's, like I said, the next 4 years are going to be very, very interesting. But the idea is, I digress a little bit here, is that the idea that this is somehow what Elon Musk wanted out of it, I mean, I think is very short-sighted. It's probably a part of what he wants, but I think what he wants is a whole basket of things. I mean, it's a lot of different things. I mean, yeah, he wants to be co-president, right? And maybe he even wants to be the one who tells the president exactly what to do. So in effect, he wants to be the president, but he does it through Trump because constitutionally he can't do it. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we even have like a constitutional tweak that changes him, changes this so that, Elon can run in the future. He's only 50 something, maybe 52, 53, something like that. So he could still run for president himself, right? So he's just, what does he want from Donald Trump? I mean, the very least of what he wants is this Department of Government Efficiency thingy. I mean, this is like, you know, playing games here. It's not even, it doesn't begin to cut the muster. Anyway, Chris Hayes goes on. Musk has become America's most powerful private citizen, according to the New York Times. He's reportedly sitting in on job interviews with the Trump team, and pushing for his Silicon Valley friends to get plum positions in the White House. The Times even reports at Mar-a-Lago one recent evening, he walked into the dining room about 30 minutes after the president elected and received a similar standing ovation, according to two people who saw him enter. Well, if there's one thing we know about Trump, says Chris Hayes, is that he doesn't love sharing the spotlight, and I think that's true, right? I think that's very true. And I think that there is going to be a bust up of this bromance. They're going to break up. And I worry about it because I think it's going to be something very epic, very spectacular, and things are going to come out that maybe neither of these two people want to come out. So I think that a breakup is the very last thing that Trump can allow to happen, frankly. It says here, it seems clear Musk has bottomless ambitions. The South African born tech billionaire is barred from running for high office by the Constitution because he's not a native born U.S. citizen. So this is as close as he's going to get, and he seems to be making the most of it. For now, you guys, for now. I don't think you understand what this is about. The Constitution is going to change. First of all, you're going to have 9 justices on the Supreme Court. Then none of these Democrat pundits are talking about that yet. I see it, like I see it, you guys. I see it. Trump is going to expand the court with 3 more conservative judges. Nobody is talking about that. You heard that here first, okay? On Marion's Chronicles. Okay, you guys? Okay, now, and this is, I've been saying this before today, but today's November 17th, and they're all obsessed about Trump's Attorney General pick and this guy Kennedy and the health, health and human services or whatever that's called, pick, and Elon Musk and his DOGE pick. What about what Trump is going to do to the Supreme Court? Why isn't anybody preemptively looking at that, right? And playing offense with that as if they can do anything. They can't really do anything. Trump is going to change the court and he's going to change the Constitution. Don't forget, you heard it here first. Okay, so Chris Hayes continues. We've joked darkly about Musk setting himself up as a sort of co president, but it's not just us. Two people familiar with the transition now tell NBC News that Musk may be overstaying his welcome in Trump world. He's behaving as if he's a co president and making sure everyone knows it, one of those people said. More insiders told Politico's playbook Musk has become almost a comical distraction, hanging around Mar-a-Lago, sidling into high-level transition meetings, and giving unsolicited feedback on Trump's personnel decisions. As one of them said, Elon is getting a little big for his britches. And look, again, I wouldn't be surprised if Trump himself is the one whispering that to people, like Susie or whatever, and then she whispers it to somebody else. It's kind of like, okay, I've won, go away. You've served your purpose, right? Please leave. No, Elon is like, you please leave. I ain't going nowhere, right? I ain't going nowhere because you haven't even begun to pay me back for all I did for you. So this is going to be very interesting. But it also could just be that, the press is trying to make trouble between Trump and Elon and saying that, Elon has outstayed his welcome when in fact he hasn't really. But just knowing Trump and observing him and seeing how much he loves to be the star, he's the one who gets the ratings, he's the one people love. He loves that, and I don't think he shares well, I don't think he shares that well. Anyway, Chris Hayes goes on. Now, this may just be backbiting insiders, exactly, who are envious of Musk's close relationship with the future president, but it tells me that even some people close to Trump who helped him win over working class voters aren't crazy about the world's richest man issuing orders to a democratic nation. Well, what will Americans think? Or more to their point, what will Trump think? How many Scaramucci's do we think the president-elect will let pass before his ego can no longer tolerate the adoration and authority of his co-president? So it's that, right? It's that. And it says here, Elon won't go home, the president-elect said. I can't get rid of him until I don't like him. If he really said that, then the Gemini thing is definitely bubbling up and he does want him to leave, but he doesn't know how to tell him. So Elon is going to have to take a hint from the press. And as Elon gets that hint louder and louder blown into his ear, he's going to become angrier and angrier and more resentful because he didn't do this because, he just loves Trump. I mean, he really wants to be a part of things and he really wants to get his agenda across. And, he really wants this job as co-president. As I said, he takes this very, very seriously. And if Trump turns on him, it's going to be a very nasty breakup, a very nasty divorce. That's just my opinion, and I'm sticking to it until I see otherwise. Chris Hayes says here, the good news is Trump is likely to get sick of Musk. That could just be Chris Hayes's hope and prayer and, desire. But, I don't think he's totally off base. I think Trump will probably get sick of Musk. And Chris continues, the bad news is until that moment comes, our unprecedented experiment in handing over the levels of power to unelected billionaires continue. So, yeah. What do you think about that, whoever you are listening to me? I mean, do you think that Elon Musk is acting as a co-president for Donald Trump? And if so, do you think it's a problem or do you think it's like, just let it be, let it slide. It's only 4 years. Do you think they're going to break up? I mean, and if they do you think it's going to be really, really nasty? Do you think Elon Musk has anything on Trump, by the way, that Trump would not want people to know about, which would sort of stymie him and force him to accept